Okay, hi girls, how are you? I just thought I'd come on for a couple of reasons. Number one, to welcome you back after your Easter break. Number two, because I met a couple of parents in Dunstores when I was shopping, and at a social distance, we were talking about videos and trying to teach. And one of the parents said that some of the students were saying, that they can't see my face and it's just weird. Was I trying to hide from the camera? So just to point out that I'm not trying to hide from the camera. I look the same as I always did. A little bit more round maybe, but other than that I'm the same. Um, so the news broke over the Easter break that your exams aren't going to happen in June, and that they're looking at end of July, beginning of August. Um, and I just wanted to come on and I suppose say to you that I know how hard this is. I mean, you bank on June, you work to a peak, you plan for something, and now they've extended the deadline for 8 weeks. It's very hard to keep motivation. It's also very hard to keep going. Like, you're expecting to finish at the end of June, you had plans, we all did. And it's very, very hard. And just to say that, like, let's be honest about it, it's fairly crap. But a couple of things. So I know in the press there was a couple of things said, like, teachers would have the option of voluntarily keeping online classes going in June and July. I mean, if you need anything, if you want me to keep sending you videos, anything you want, you're more than welcome to them. I'll only be working with the other groups till June, and obviously I'm not going anywhere either way. It might be a bit ad hoc, so I might be doing them in the evenings or the weekends when my husband's home and someone can mind the little one. But it goes without saying, girls, you're my priority, and I'm not going to stop in June and just let you wait and see how you get on. If there's stuff you want and stuff you need, if you want a weekly kind of plan sort of idea of taking questions, keep doing questions here, there and ever, that's obviously going to happen. You know me well enough to know that you don't even have to worry about that, okay? The second thing is they're talking about us being back in July for the 2 weeks of teaching. Should that go ahead and should they be allowed to let us back in, I'll make arrangements. I'll find childcare. My husband can take a couple of weeks off and I'll be there. Okay, so there's, again, no need to be concerned that I'm not going to come or that you're going to be stuck. You're not going to be stuck from those point of views. I suppose the job now is to try and keep you motivated and trying to keep you going, without overloading you either, because the thing is, you work to a peak and then that's it, so you're not going to be able to work 24/7. I mean, you do need to schedule yourself breaks in, because it's a long time to the end of July. That's a long distance to go. So the way you need to see it is the amount of work that you needed to do from here to June, you now have from here to the end of July to do. So you just need to spread the load a little bit more, and to mind yourself as best as you can. My plan, I suppose, for this term, this term normally is not a term with sixth years. So normally most of you don't come back after Easter. You might come back for a few days here and there, and you come back for the niceties at the end of the years. But I normally don't see sixth years, to be honest. One or two, like my own parents, would have sent me in no matter what. So a few of you would have come in and we would have done study, and if you'd had questions, we would do that. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So I still have the rest of those calculations to go through, so I'm going to go through each of them, and like I've been doing assigned work around those calculations. But that's an intermittent thing we have from here to the end of July, so there's no pressure in terms of that. I'm going to try and get it done, unless you tell me otherwise, just because I'll have it done then in my head, and it gives me a format to work toward. The other thing, though, I will say to you girls is you need to be quite vocal now about what you want and what you need. So normally what sixth years would do is I'd normally pass a sheet of paper around and say, what sections do you want revision on? What parts of that section do you need revision on? Is the calculations? Is it the theory? Are you missing notes? Go back through everything and we'll fill out a form and I will give you what you need. So that's what we're going to do. So I don't really know the best format of tabulating that and getting that all in, but what I would suggest is that I'll create a poll or something on Edmodo this week at some point, and I'll ask you what you want. And you will click on the particular chapters that you need extra help with, and leave me a note as to what parts of them that you need. And that's probably the easiest thing. There's only 17, 18 of us, so maybe just I'll create an assignment, say what you need, and you comment in underneath that the ones that you want, and whatever ones you want I will do videos on, and we'll start working from there. Okay, and we'll see where we go. And some of you are going to tip in and tip out. I'll ask you to all stay with me for the calculations, and then after that you can send me a personal email or a comment and say, actually miss, I'm just going to work on my own for a while. I'll check in every now and then. If there's something I come across that I don't understand, I'll come back to you, and that's perfectly fine. And I'd ask that you check in on the Edmodo group maybe once a week, because you'll be surprised that somebody asks for something you think you don't need it, and then when you see it you're like, actually yeah, that was very helpful. So check in once a week, because that's what you would normally do with me if you were studying from home. I would say to you, give me your email address. I'd email you at the beginning of a week saying, this is the topics that I'm planning on doing, and you would say to me, well actually I'm interested in that one, I'm available to come in on Thursday, will you do it on Thursday? Then I do it on Thursday. So we'll do the same. Yeah, you check in and out once a week or whatever, and we'll see. If there's anything that another teacher's doing that you think, oh my god, that's brilliant, if she'd do that, that'd be great. She will most likely be able to do it if you let her know. So if you tell me, I'll probably do it. I'll keep doing it the other way otherwise, until you tell me something else. So the videos will continue for the calculations for this week, and I'll assign you work and I'll ask you to do that for this week. It'll probably go into this week and next week, and then after that then it'll be up to you to ask me what you want, and we'll check in with each other every week and we'll see how we're going. I gave you that mock paper. I'm not sure if you did it, to be honest. So what I'll do is I will create an assignment there now, and I'll put a timeline of Thursday on it, or Wednesday. Ask you to submit your pictures of your questions. And when you submit that, can you tell me which ones you had difficulty with? I'll put the marking scheme up, and then on top of doing the marking scheme, I can do out the calculations like I do a video for each calculation, or each sum, or each, if there was a theory question that you had difficulty with, we can do a little video and we can talk about what the issue was. Okay. I don't know if you're doing Zoom calls with some of the other teachers or whatever, but it might be something maybe toward the end of May we might have a look at and see, to make sure that everyone's on the call, so we kind of do some version of a graduation for ourselves, even just to finish up on things, and make sure that you have everything you need, and we'll come back and see if, I'm sure management will tell us what to do as we go through, and we'll have to abide by that anyway. Alright, best of luck girls, talk to you soon, take care.